Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's Zap. Happy Friday. Happy Function Fridays. We're going to talk about marriage, real estate, finances, the three things that I am helping you out with this Friday. First, I want to talk about the presidency. We know now who's going to be our next president, Donald J. Trump, and we know a little bit about what he said he's going to try to do as a president. So let's dive into that. The first thing he's really emphasized that's going to affect you as an individual, especially in the finance and real estate, is he's trying to cut regulation. And what does that translate into, especially in the real estate market, is it means it's going to be cheaper, faster, and easier for home builders to build homes, which will ease up on the pressure of people looking to buy a home, especially if you're looking to buy a new home. Those should be getting cranked out a little bit faster than typical, and also that should cut prices a little bit. So if you're thinking about buying a new home or looking at new house builds, give it maybe a year or 18 months, and you should start to see the change in the frequency of new builds, the amount of new builds out there, and a slight price reduction in new builds. Another thing that has been on the chopping block potentially for real estate related things, especially investors, is the 1031 exchange, which President Biden had talked about taking that away, or at least altering the degree at which investors can do a 1031 exchange. And for those of you who are not familiar with the 1031 exchange, essentially it's an exchange for like kind. So if you buy a property as an investment property and you want to sell it and then use the gains to purchase another property, those taxes would be deferred. You wouldn't have to pay capital gains taxes on the property you sold. As long as you bought another property that was like kind property, you could defer the taxes, and essentially you could just continue to defer taxes into perpetuity until you died. And then if you have your trust set up well, you would get your kids or whoever your trustees are would get that nice new basis, and you would never end up paying taxes. This is a huge real estate strategy that is a cornerstone of investors. I've used this strategy. I've helped other people use the strategy. So something that's very, very cool to do as a real estate investor. Again, it was on the chopping block, but President Trump has said that he wants to continue to allow 1031 exchanges. Another thing that has been reducing since President Trump left office last time was the bonus depreciation. Now, it was at some point 100%, and it's gone down to, I think 2025 it's going to be at 60%, but President Trump wants to move that back up to 100%. And in basic English, that just means that if you're purchasing equipment that typically has to be depreciated over time, either 5-year, 10-year, 15-year, 29-year, you can write off the entire amount of that thing and the year that you purchased it. So this is a really, really good thing for, again, real estate investors. If you're going to be an investor or thinking about investing in real estate, especially rental real estate, and you can depreciate 100% of equipment that you're buying, that's going to be a big, big deal. And I actually just took a recent class with this with an attorney friend of mine who we were talking about that. And typically if you do a cost segregation study, you can write off about 30% of any property that you're buying. So that's a huge thing. If you paid $1 million for a property and you could write off $300,000 after a cost segregation study, that's huge, because you might not even put $300,000 down on that $1 million property. So essentially your taxes would go to zero because you could do bonus depreciation. So that's a huge thing that's great for real estate investors. If you are a real estate investor or thinking about doing real estate investing, a President Trump presidency is actually probably going to be to your benefit. If you are a new first-time home buyer, I think a President Harris presidency would have been better for example, the $25,000 free assistance for first-time home buyers, things like that. President Trump has not proposed that, so that's something that you won't benefit from if you're a first-time home buyer. Now, are there still first-time home buyer programs? Yes. Are there still other programs that exist to help home buyers who are not investors? Absolutely. You can talk to me about those things in specificity. But if you're an investor, this is the time to start investing. This is the time to continue to invest. And this is the time to reach out to someone like myself if you want to talk through what it looks like to be a real estate investor. That's all I got for this Friday. As always, if you have any questions about marriage, finance, real estate, let me know. I'd love to help you, work with you, and coach couples and business owners. We'll see you next Friday.